If your nest egg, your Social Security direct deposit, or your emergency savings sit in Chase, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, you need to hear me out for the next 40 seconds, because what is happening right now at these three banks is not an inconvenience. According to the Wall Street Journal, branch closures hit older Americans harder than any other group. And right now, Wells Fargo and Bank of America are shrinking their branch footprints faster than any other big banks in the country, with U.S. Bank and Wells Fargo closing a combined 180 branches in the past year alone. If your local branch is one of them, your groceries, your prescriptions, your Social Security check, even your identity verification can be caught in the middle of the change. Before we go any further, I want you to do one small thing right now. Press the like button on this video. That single tap tells the YouTube system that senior-focused content matters, and it pushes this information into the hands of neighbors, friends, and family members who may not know to look for it on their own. A couple of seconds of your time, a lifetime of help for someone else. Let's get into it. Several things are happening at Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo at the same time, and none of them are in the headlines. The first is the steady disappearance of physical branches, especially in smaller towns, rural counties, and even mid-sized suburbs, where the median age of the customer is well over 60. The second is a quiet shift in the fee schedule, particularly on accounts that older customers tend to carry the longest. The third is the ongoing exposure of seniors to rapid money transfer scams through Zelle, the very service these same banks market as convenient and free. Any one of these three issues can drain hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars from a retiree in a single month. Together, they form a pattern that every senior on a fixed income should understand clearly. Let me start with the one that hurts the most, because once a branch is gone, you cannot get it back. According to data reported by U.S. News, U.S. Bank and Wells Fargo shuttered the most branches over the past year, combining to close a net total of 180 branches. Bank of America has also been steadily pruning its footprint, and Wells Fargo publicly indicated that additional sites would close by the end of 2025. The Wall Street Journal stated plainly that branch closures disproportionately affect older populations, as well as less tech-savvy customers and people in lower income and rural areas. That is a polite way of saying the people who can least afford to lose convenient banking are the people losing it. Why does this matter to you in real life? Because most seniors do not do all their banking on an app. They walk in to deposit a check when they cannot figure out mobile deposit, and they walk in to take out cash when their debit card stops working at the grocery store. They go in person when they need a medallion signature guarantee for an investment transfer, or when they need to update a beneficiary on a joint account. When that branch closes, the closest in-person option may be 20, 30, or 40 miles away. For seniors who have stopped driving, who depend on a relative for rides, or who use paratransit services, that distance makes the practical reality of banking impossible. So the first thing you need to do this week is simple. Use the branch locator on the website of your bank, Chase, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, and check whether your current branch is still flagged as open. If you see a closure notice, or if your branch hours have been reduced to just a couple of days a week, you need to plan now. Decide where you will go for in-person help, get to know the nearest full-service branch, and ask about a banker who is willing to handle your account over the phone when distance becomes an obstacle. If this is starting to sound like the kind of information your adult children need to hear, share this video with them right now. They are the ones who will be driving you to that next branch appointment, and they need to understand which bank closures are happening in your town. Just hit the share button and send it over. It takes 10 seconds, and it protects the people you love. Now let us move on to a second issue that is just as serious, and that is the fee trap sitting inside the most common checking accounts held by older Americans. Chase charges a $34 overdraft fee for every transaction that overdraws your account during their nightly processing. That fee is capped at 3 transactions per business day, which is technically a cap, but only in the sense that you stop bleeding out at $102 per day instead of $250. Chase also has a $50 cushion, which means they waive the fee if you end the day overdrawn by $50 or less. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, overdraft revenue across the entire banking industry dropped by more than 50% in 2023 compared to pre-pandemic levels, which is good news, but the fees that remain are still hitting fixed-income households hardest because the timing of Social Security direct deposits often leaves the smallest margin for error in the account. Bank of America has its own issues. Their Standard Advantage Plus checking account carries a $12 monthly maintenance fee, and they waive it only if you set up a direct deposit of at least $250 a month or keep a minimum daily balance of $1,500. For seniors whose Social Security direct deposit exceeds that $250 threshold, the fee disappears. For the many seniors who split incoming money between smaller payments, a pension check here, a small annuity there, the $12 starts showing up every single month. There is a Bank of America account called the Senior Economy Checking Account, and it works well, but many seniors do not even know it exists because they were never offered the upgrade at the branch. Wells Fargo has its own monthly maintenance fees, typically $15 on clear access banking, and its own minimum balance requirements for waiver. The pattern is consistent across all three banks. The fee schedule is built around behaviors that working-age customers tend to fit naturally, and seniors on fixed incomes often do not. If your checking account is currently charging any kind of monthly maintenance fee, take out a piece of paper right now and write down the exact name of your account and the exact dollar amount being deducted each month. That is the first step before I move on to the next part of this conversation, because once you have that number in front of you, you can decide whether to ask your bank for a downgrade to a no-fee senior account, switch to a credit union that does not charge monthly maintenance, or negotiate the fee away in person at a branch. Do that now before we move on. Let me talk about Zelle, because this is the part of the story that has scared me the most for the last several years, and the part that, on a per-incident basis, hurts retirees the most. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau sued J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo for failing to protect their customers on Zelle. The complaint alleged that these banks failed to investigate disputed transactions, failed to provide promised fraud protections, and effectively left customers on the hook for transactions they did not authorize. The loss numbers cited in that litigation and in subsequent reporting often referenced hundreds of millions in customer losses flowing through the network during the period in question. The CFPB has since dropped that lawsuit, but the underlying complaint describes a real pattern that is still out there right now. An older adult receives a text that looks like it is from their own bank's fraud department. They are told a suspicious transaction is pending. They open Zelle just to verify the transaction, and within 90 seconds, they have sent their own money to a stranger who will never give it back. The reason seniors are hit hardest is not because they are less smart. It is because they call their bank back through a number they see on the screen, and that number, in many of these scams, is the number of the scammer, not the number of their bank. The reason seniors are also hit hardest on the recovery side is because Zelle transfers are designed to move money in seconds, and that speed, which is wonderful for paying a grandchild for concert tickets, is exactly what makes a successful fraud permanent. The bank does not always refund you. The receiving bank does not always refund you. After the CFPB dropped its suit, this protection gap remains something every senior needs to understand before they use the service. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please take 5 seconds right now to tap that subscribe button. This is the kind of information that I am going to keep bringing to you week after week, and the subscription makes sure you never miss a single one. I will see you in every video, and I do not want you falling behind. So here is what I want you to do this week. The action plan is short, practical, and I built it so that anyone, even someone who has never been comfortable with bank paperwork, can follow it from start to finish. First, identify your bank. If it is Chase, Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, you are in the group this video was made for. Second, locate your usual branch today. Go to your bank's website, type your zip code into the branch finder, and confirm whether that branch is still open, and if so, on which days and at what hours. Third, check the name of your checking account on your most recent paper statement or your online banking dashboard. If you see a $12, $14, or $15 monthly maintenance fee, write down the date of the first charge and the total charged year to date. Fourth, call the bank at the number printed on the back of your debit card, which is 1-800, and the rest is in the materials your bank mailed you when you opened the account. Ask the representative 2 direct questions. Tell them, I am 60 or older, and I would like to know if I qualify for a senior checking account that has no monthly maintenance fee. And tell them, if you do not offer one, would you waive the fee on my current account based on my overall relationship with the bank? Many seniors are told no on the first call. That is fine. Call again, ask for a different representative, or visit a branch in person and ask to speak with a banker who has authority to override the fee. Fifth, decide on your Zelle policy. If you do not use Zelle, do not start. If you already use Zelle, make one rule for yourself and tell your family. The rule is this: you will never, for any reason, send money through Zelle to someone who contacted you first. You will only send money through Zelle when you personally initiated the request to a person you already know and trust. If a person or a business contacts you through a text message, an email, or a phone call and asks for a Zelle payment, even if they claim to be from your bank, your utility provider, or the IRS, you hang up, you do not respond, and you call your bank or that agency directly through the number printed on your statement. Sixth, write down the fraud reporting number for your bank and keep it somewhere visible. For Chase customer service, the number printed on the back of your debit card starts with 1-800-935-9935. For Bank of America, the published customer service line is 1-800-432-1000. For Wells Fargo, the customer service line is 1-800-869-3557. If you suspect fraud on a Zelle transaction or any other transaction, call your bank within 60 days of the statement date showing the charge. After 60 days, your right to dispute the transaction under federal banking rules becomes more limited. So write that number down tonight, stick it on the refrigerator, and do not wait. Seventh, talk to your family. Pick one trusted relative, one adult child, one niece, one nephew, one grandchild, one close friend, and tell them what bank you use, what branch you use, what account you carry, and what your backup plan is if your local branch closes. Senior banking safety is not something you do alone. Done well, it is a conversation with the people who will catch a problem before it becomes a crisis. One more thing I want you to do, because it will protect a lot of other people who are watching right now. Leave a comment below telling me which bank you use and whether your local branch is still open. Your single comment helps someone else in our community decide whether to follow up with their own bank this week. I read as many comments as I can, and I will respond when I can. I want to be clear about something before we close. Everything I have shared in this video is general information based on what the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has filed in court, what the Wall Street Journal and U.S. News have reported on branch closures, what Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo have published on their own websites about account fees, and what the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has reported about overdraft revenue across the banking industry. Your specific situation may be different. The fees, the protections, and the dispute rights available to you depend on the exact account you hold, the exact state you live in, and the exact terms of your agreements with your bank. Before you decide to switch banks, before you decide to send a Zelle payment, before you decide how to file a fraud complaint, please talk with a trusted family member or a qualified professional who can look at your complete picture. What I can promise you is that every dollar figure, every policy claim, and every news reference I made in this video comes from a publicly available official source, and I have done my best to verify each one before I spoke it out loud. So let us recap the core action. Identify your bank, confirm your branch, check your monthly fees, set up your Zelle rule, write down your bank's fraud number, talk with your family. That is your homework for the week. Each step is short. Together, they could save you hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars this year alone, and they will protect you from the three problems creeping up on retirees right now at Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. I appreciate the time you spent with me on this one. Tell a neighbor about this channel, share this video with someone who still banks at one of these three giants, and tap that notification bell so you hear from me the next time I publish. We will be back very soon with the next big topic that affects your money, your benefits, and your peace of mind.